Alright, so in this video I'm going to be giving some advice on turning and how to limit regrips. With the help of Jabari, we recently analyzed my solves and looked at some of my solutions in slow motion, and we realized that my right hand is regripping a lot to do different moves, and that's causing lockups and slow turning. So he showed me some tricks, and I've been working on improving my turning so I can stop regripping so much. So I'm just going to tell you guys what I've been working on and how you can start applying it in your solves. So I'll go step by step. So I'll start with the first block. So first block is probably where the most regrips are going to come in my solves, or most Roux solves, and that's because the move set isn't really restricted. You can do F, M, B, U, D, L, R, any kind of move, and most of the problems arise with B moves, F moves, and M moves, because you don't do L. RU is pretty easy, but B moves and F moves and M moves, sometimes they get caught up and you're going to have to regrip. So for B moves, I used to do like B only like this, and B prime like this with my thumb, and I noticed that that was causing a lot of lockups. So I'm gonna start doing more B's and B primes with the ring in the back like this, as well as that index push in the back. And I actually used this B prime in my 652 NR average, so that was actually really useful that I figured that out before the competition. So if you have something like this, where you just have these two, instead of doing that, you should be doing something like that. And similarly, let's see if I can set up a different case. Something like this, instead of doing, I don't know, like R prime and then regrip B, you can just, from this position, just finger trick like that. Another place this can be applied is with this kind of pair. So if your hand's on top, you can do something like that, or bottom. Similarly, in the front, you can either do this case with R like that, or if that's not really convenient and your hand's like this, you can kind of take advantage of the lefty F moves. And here's where the F and M thing comes into play, because I do my M moves with the right hand, but if you do it with the left hand, you're gonna have less of this problem. But you can actually do kind of like this thumb, like a one-handed F, like this, so you don't have to regrip your right hand, or you can do F like this. So I'm going to start using both of those, and I recommend you guys do that too. So F, U. So you can kind of alternate hands there and use both hands for the same move, and just having a bunch of different ways to do the same move is very beneficial. And that's basically it for first block. Now second block is a pretty good and finger tricky step. Once you place your DR and like you know where your pairs are, it's pretty easy. You can generally just solve everything regripless, unless there are pairs where something like this, where the solution is RU R prime, U prime, RU R prime. Before, I would regrip to here and do that, but I realized what you can actually do is just this, or you can just use this push for all the U moves, or also this thumb, whichever is more comfortable. And the same thing applies in the back. So instead of, or no, the inverse of this one, something like this. So instead of going like re-ripping to thumb on top, you can kind of go like that and use this push in the back. So in general, alternating U moves left hand and right hand in second block is really going to help you, and obviously me, limit your regrips and improve your times. Now for CMLL, most of my algs limit regrips within the alg, but some of them have regrips at the beginning of the alg to thumb on bottom or thumb on top or something like that. So I've actually started switching out some of my algs. I think I switched 5 of them. So if you haven't checked out my CMLL page in a while, you might want to refer back to that. But basically what I did is I took some cases and I switched to the inverse of them. This one, for example, instead of doing that, which requires a regrip at the beginning and the end because it's transition to LSE, I switched to the alg that goes like this, which is the inverse. Oh, like that. So it's basically the same speed because it's really the same alg. So, and what that allows me to do is to use both hands to AUF. What I was doing a while ago is only using my left hand to AUF to give my right hand time to regrip, but that's still slightly worse than not having to regrip at all. So a couple cases would be this one, so I'd be able to AUF at the same time, and then the other case, this one. So before I'd AUF and do that, I'd regrip and do that, but now I can do something like this. which is regripless at the beginning and the end. And I guess the last one, oh, oops, that's the same thing I just did. Where was it? Yeah, so just this case, instead of doing regrip, I'm going to start using this one more, just the inverse of that. So overall, you can just play around with that and try to find as many algs as you can that are regripless. But obviously, for something like this, or a lot of easy cases where you have to have your thumb on bottom, you're kind of going to have to regrip. But even something like this, I used to regrip to thumb on bottom, sexy, and then regrip sledge. But I'm going to start doing this instead, which is a lot better. I don't know why I was doing that. Really bad. Now we'll move on to LSE. So for LSE itself, there's not much to say since your thumbs are always on the front and your fingers are on the back, and you can kind of, do all your normal finger tricks without having to regrip at all. The main regrip there is between CMLL and LSE, which is fixed by cleaning up your CMLL algorithms. So it's worth it to every now and then go through your list and see how many regrips how many algs have regrips at the beginning and end, and if you can find something that's of comparable or similar, the same speed, so that you can replace it and limit your regrips. So in summary, first block M, B, and F moves kind of cause problems with regrips, so it's important to know lots of different ways to do those, so you can play around with that. Second block, some pairs like this, a lot of people, including myself, would regrip and do it, but you can actually do it regripless by using lefty U moves and also kind of this. And for CMLL, what you need to do, and what I'm working on right now, is going through your algs and trying to limit regrips before and after the algorithm. Hopefully this was useful and you learned something. Thanks for watching.